I always forget to introduce myself, so I've made a little introductory slide. I'm Lynn Colley, and I'm the digital media producer and the innovative learning and teaching team in the business school. So I've got there, I've got 7 years teaching video production to students and information management 392, just in case you're wondering why I'm talking about the subject, and I always forget to mention these things. And in the job I do here, I get questions from staff about everything to do with video production, screen capture, that sort of thing. So, and that's been going on forever. So yeah, that's why I'm here and why I'm doing this. Andrew?
And I'm here just because I sort of have to be. I'm Andrew Eberhard, and I'm a professional teaching fellow in the Information Systems Department. And I'm here because Lynn came and pitched an idea to me last year, and I thought, that solves one of my problems. And she did all the work, and I'm here to talk about how awesome it was.
All right, so I've got just one slide, and I'm going to try and toggle between this and Canvas to give you an idea of what I was doing. So I should also say this project is a lead-funded grant. I keep forgetting to mention that. It's a 2-year project, theoretically finishing at the end of this year with the second pilot. All right, so I have made a multimedia guide to doing video assignments. So why have I done this? Well, video assignments are used increasingly across the tertiary sector, internationally and locally and at this university, and I've been getting queries about them for a long time from different staff, ranging from the reasonable through to the really. So that sort of prompted me to think about how I could support this more. Video assignments, according to the literature, you can do just about anything with them. They're great for skill development of all kinds, whether you want soft skills, teamwork, interpersonal development, if you want students to be more engaged, if you want them to have increased media literacy, and if you want them to learn about technology or learn about the actual process of creating a story, if that's your focus. And it is, of course, for some people. So anything at all, pretty much, will become. You could easily do a video assignment in maths. I mean, I can't think exactly what the angle would be right now, but I'm sure that someone has already done it and written it up. However, media literacy amongst students, as all literacies are, and I'm looking at our numeracy specialist when I say this, is on a bell curve. So just because technology is now much more accessible and everyone owns it and we're all on social media all the time, does not mean that your poor, defenceless millennial students coming in automatically know how to make a good video. It doesn't work that way. Some of them love it, can do it, are better than me at it. Some of them hate it, are totally disinterested, disengaged, not even there, and there's this big chunk of students in the middle who are like, they sort of have some idea, might go either way. So, when I'm in doing this guide, I'm really thinking about, I'm not thinking about the top 25% of students, because they're going to figure it out, they already know about it, they're already there. I'm thinking about the bottom sort of 75% of the class, that big bulge in the middle and the long tail out the end who are not there, not engaged, or, not having much fun with it. The other reason that I wanted to do this is because I've already said this, more academics are introducing video assignments, and I'm getting more queries about it. There's certainly lots of literature about it, and a lot of it quite recent. So this is a growing kind of area. And what you discover from a quick review of the literature, and I want to put a wee plug in for Chan Lu, who helped me with this, is that there is a dearth of practical information on running video assignments. There's lots of discussion about they're really amazing for doing this, and this is kind of what the students did, but there's not much telling you about the horror of using the technology and how it all fell over, and then you had 1,000 students who were like, what do I do to upload this? There's nothing about workflow or managing that side of things, or what happens when things go wrong. And the other thing that anecdotally I would say, although nobody would mention this, is that often staff haven't ever made a video themselves. And so they go, oh, this will be so engaging and fun for my students. They've all got their technology. I'll just tell them that they're going to do this, and they'll go off and do it, and it'll be fabulous. And
Guilty.
and I think probably, for some students it is fabulous, and for some students not so much. So, yeah, just thinking about these things and trying to link the pain and agony that some students are going to go through in making a video and the fun, or whatever, with the learning outcomes that they're experiencing. How does that relate to your course design, and what you want them to get from it? So in response to all of those things, I have created a multimedia guide on Canvas. It's a series of modules which when the pilot is finished will be able to be downloaded directly into any course that you like from the Canvas Commons. If you want to do this yourself, you can do that. There's also a section that's just for staff, about thinking about all of the issues that you might encounter, how you think about the technology, the workflow, and how you link, theoretically, hopefully when I've got it finished, how you would link a video assignment to your specific course design so that you're matching it back to your learning outcomes and thinking about what you want your students to get from it. If it's engagement, you've got more flexibility. If it's content driven, then there might be some options in the literature that you might consider. The section that tells you how to make videos is complete and has been piloted in Information Systems 110 this semester. So subject to revision, of course. And I said this is a guide for students and staff, because of course staff often haven't made a video before, and it's quite a good idea to get an idea of the breadth of things that you might consider. You don't have to think about all of it, but you could think about some of it. I was hoping from this for better outcomes for staff, and Andrew probably can talk about his decisions around the video assignment, which were to do with reducing marking over here, I believe, amongst many others. So there's some stuff there that this doesn't have to be an entirely kind of student-driven thing. It can also be a pragmatic decision for staff too. But also better outcomes for students if you are doing a video assignment, reduced anxiety, better quality assignments, and actually in this respect the pilot findings are kind of encouraging. So I would say also that probably the one thing we've discovered that's an issue which probably shouldn't be a surprise is getting students to locate and engage with the material is something that will need to be addressed going forward. Anyway, I'm going to show you the inside of the guide a little bit, play a video and get Andrew to talk, and then we'll do questions. Assistant, this is what everyone should have. Okay, so this is, I'm not going to make an argument that this is the most elegantly designed Canvas course ever, but it is really designed as a series of modules that staff can choose to take some of, or one of, or all of, if they want. So I haven't done the academics part yet, that's under development, so we will just politely ignore that. So for everybody, you've got a section on writing and planning a video. We've got a section on narrating and presenting, because some students need to use a camera in their video assignments. So the narrating and presenting is really key, because they might just be putting some still images. There's a section on animation. And when I say animation, I'm talking about the sorts of things that we quite often do, like screencasting. So I could show you that, but I won't just yet. Or if you want to get a bit more sophisticated, there's a stop motion animation, and that just shows students how they can use a whiteboard and a marker pen or a whole lot of paper cutouts to do an animation that explains the story. So you do need a camera for that, but it's not, you don't require any special software or anything like that. And then if students are going to be doing some significant shooting, then we've got basic shooting techniques, which I will show you shortly, a whole section on shooting tips and editing and delivery. So the shooting tips is a lot more sophisticated, and this would be something that students who are engaged in learning screen studies might look at, but it's just one section. The rest of this is tailored for, I did a survey of staff at this university before I started doing the design, and I tried to match this guide to the types of needs that are actually out there. And I did actually make a wee list of all the things. So locally, people are doing self-review of performance, especially in medicine, so students are learning how to do interactions with clients. We've got videos where students are asked to explain or pitch or problem solve something. Then students are asked to synthesise an experience or knowledge. Then there's students who are learning how to make videos, like in screen studies. Elsewhere, if you look at the literature, there's many things happening, but yeah, synthesis is very important. Presenting cases and portfolios problem-based learning and reflecting on your own or others' performance, and then taking sections of that and using it in practice for an analysis of what's going on. In addition, students are also learning group work and negotiation skills. They have to engage with the technology. And they're learning troubleshooting and problem solving, because where there is technology, there will be trouble. It's just a thing, right? Everyone knows that. They don't say it, but it's true. So, it's all very healthy and good for them, but how much pain do we want them to experience? So I'll show you the basic shooting techniques section. So this is a short video, which I'll play in a second, and then I've taken a short video and using multimedia best practice, broken the video down by stills, just to make sure that the key concepts from the video are there in a static format so that they can be reviewed after. Because the videos I made, I'm not taking any credit for them, I got them made in conjunction with Media Productions and a really great director over there who's brilliant. They are all around 90 seconds, they're incredibly engaging, but they go by very quick. So you get engaged, then you get a second kind of bite of the cherry in the multimedia below. So here we go, let's hope this plays.
When you're shooting video on a mobile phone, there's no rule book, but there are some guidelines to follow which can help you achieve a better result. Steady footage looks more professional, so you'll need a device to attach your phone to a tripod. Make sure that your tripod is level. You can use the spirit level on your tripod, if it has one, or level it to the horizon. For best results, make sure everything you need to capture is in the frame. If you're recording a presentation, the safest option is to include the whole space that the speaker might walk into. This usually means putting the phone at the back of the room. You're going to have to make sure that you're close enough to get good sound. This should be around 1 meter or less. If you need to be far away, you might use a separate phone just to record sound. Set the second phone to record and stick it in the speaker's pocket. You can then sync this recording with the footage from the first phone when you edit your video. Finally, you're going to have to make sure that your phone is in the right place to get good light. Windows should be behind the phone, and if your shot looks a little dark, it's a good idea to open blinds or curtains and switch on the lights.
So that was a little, tour through the 4 or 5 top mistakes that everyone makes when they start using the camera. And trust me, I've seen this in before. I'm just having a flashback to... Okay. So basically that's what it is. I've probably got time for one more video. Should I play another?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. After me.
Really? Do you want 10 minutes?
No, okay.
Okay, so something that Andrew's class do a lot is animation, and would screen capture be the most common?
Go for it.
Yeah. All right. So if you go to the animation section, screen comes down.
Screencasts are recordings of your computer screen. You can choose to narrate over them or include a video of yourself narrating. You can also add additional music, footage, images and graphics during the editing process. Screen capture videos are great for showing how to use a piece of software, complete an equation, or illustrate a concept using graphics. However, screen capture can also be really boring, especially if you include a lot of bullet points, as these aren't very visually interesting, and it is usually better to choose an image to illustrate what you're talking about.
To avoid sending your audience to sleep, try the following.
Write a short script. You get somewhere between 120 and 180 words per minute, and a minute is a long time. So aim for around 90 seconds to 3 minutes for your entire video. Use text sparingly. It's great for specific details and labels. Presenting tools, like Prezi, can be great for introducing some animations, but don't go overboard. Make sure that whatever appears on the screen is closely related to what's being discussed, and is dynamic, but not too dynamic. Get a friend to give you feedback. Finally, You can combine your screen capture with footage you've shot or existing video to keep things interesting.
Yeah, well, yes. I shouldn't relate the terrible experience I had with YouTube popping up something horribly inappropriate, but anyone from the marketing department already knows it. So yeah, just a word to the wise. Yeah, okay, so I will now let Andrew take the floor and describe how this has worked for him in Information Systems 101.
Last year sometime, I can't remember exactly when, Lynn came to me and pitched this idea, and I thought, sounds pretty good. She's going to do all the work, I get to use it, my students get to use it, and I get to come and talk at the Teaching and Learning Showcase. Thank you. And in our course, Infosys 110, we have a lot of students. And originally we had a bit of a problem. Students were complaining we had way too much writing in the course. We were trying to get them to pitch ideas. They wanted to use imagery and alternative ways of presenting the material. So probably about 3 years ago, we decided to switch over to getting them to pitch an idea via a video. Now, I have worked with Lynn for quite a few years in the digital media course that we used to do, so I was fairly familiar with video, and I thought, it's easy, you know, our students did that, it was great, it was a lot of fun, we'll just throw it at our stage 1 students. Did we give them any support? Hell no, right? They're all what? They're millennials, they're all, you know, got their devices, they know how to do it. I was doing daddy daycare this week, and my daughter was saying to her little buddy, let's do an iMovie, and off they went, you know. Our students are just like that, right, Lynn? Right, well, that was the assumption that I had. And, you know, to be honest, it was okay, right? We got a lot of crap, though, right? We have a very big bell curve, I guess over 1,000 students. We divided them up into groups, so we have 300 to 400 groups each semester. We got a lot of really, really good and engaging little videos back from them, but we also got a lot of those PowerPoints that someone's sitting there and reading, or even worse was the text-to-speech, the robot voice coming through for 3 minutes, you know. And we just sort of accepted that as the price of not training them in how to do videos. And in our marking rubric, we only really gave a very minimal mark. Well, not that minimal, it was about 20% or so on engagement, right? Because we didn't want to evaluate them on the quality of their videos because we thought that wasn't fair. And to be honest, we still don't do that because we've only just put Lynn's stuff in, but maybe we will. So Lynn pitched this resource at me, and I thought it's going to be actually really good because now, you know, I can throw this at the students, and for those who are keen, they will engage with it and hopefully deliver a better product. And for those of you who came to Learn, Do, Share last year, you may recall I showed one of the videos, and it was pretty good, you know, students put in a lot of work, and that was without any, you know, work or skills from me. But not every one of my students would have the skills that that group had. So what we did this semester was I agreed to pilot it. Lynn has been awesome. Literally, she's done all the work. The hardest thing I've had to do is stand here in front of you and talk, right? And so she brought me various videos, got some feedback, that kind of thing, asked me about the staff and student perspective. Most of it she already knew because she's the expert in this field, but for a lot of it, you know, I could say, well, I think my students would like this. They're probably going to focus on these parts the most. And so it was probably about week 3 that we were okay to release it. So I embedded it in my course probably towards the end of week 3. Now my assignment was due week 5, so there wasn't a lot of time for them to look at the material, and you know, that's just the reality of timing with these things. So I think next semester we will present it to them a lot earlier. So we put it in, I spoke to my teaching assistants who run my tutorials, and I got them to push it and just demo it in class, how to get there and how to look at the resources. And I also stuck it in one of my weekly announcements that I send out to the students. I said, hey, if you're working on your deliverable 1, then this resource will give you a very quick and snappy guide in terms of how to do a video. Now, did it work, I guess, is the question. And, if I think about it, it's really, really hard, I think, to bring a new resource in and expect to get instant results, right? And I think especially coming in a little later in the assignment, we probably didn't get as much bleed through as we wanted to, or engagement with the materials as we would like. You know, Lynn and I sort of were, you know, I was pulling out the stats and Lynn was pulling out her hair a bit, saying, they're not looking at it, you know, and she was a lot more upset about it than me, because I know Stage 1 students, and I know we have to keep pushing it for a few semesters before it really takes off. But having said that, a whole bunch of students did engage with it. I've looked at the analytics. Probably about 20% of the class have at least clicked through to it. And speaking to my teaching assistants, they all found it very useful. I had a meeting yesterday and I was soliciting feedback for this, and they were saying they were fun. That was the key thing. It was fun. They made them want to watch more of the videos. You know, and they learned things out of it. They were engaging because they were fun. They were short and informative, and they thought they would be a resource that would be useful for any course that wanted to do video. And one of them even said that, you know, they'd used that for their own little video project. They'd thought, ooh, yeah, that's a good tip, and gone through and changed a few things. I had a look at the results, right? Because my assignment's been marked. And was there a difference between this semester and first semester last year? So I compared. And who thinks there was a difference? There's one or two or three or four optimists. Who thinks no difference? Yeah, there's. And who thinks it was actually worse this semester? Fortunately, it was not worse. And fortunately, there was not a no difference. Marks are about 6% better this semester. Now, I don't know if it's because of the assignment videos. You know, I've got no real way of saying that, but I'm going to think that very strongly, right? And I guess the key thing for me now is, will I put this into my course next semester? Did I get enough value out of it? Did I get enough positive feedback from the class saying, yes, this was a good resource, to put it in again? I'd say yes, definitely. I would strongly encourage anyone who's thinking of using video to at least watch them. And if you are going to use video in your course, put a link into Lynn's course, because it is a fantastic resource. And I think she's done an awesome job. We did try to get some student feedback. We sent out a survey to everybody. We only got 2 responses, but they loved it. So we had 100% student satisfaction. Not just student satisfaction, they were extremely pleased. Right? So again, it's hard to get students to give us feedback online, we're finding. And especially we asked them for feedback the day before the mid-semester break started, so it wasn't really great timing. So yeah, that's probably me. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Questions? Angela.
I noticed the site was still unpublished. When will the site become available?
It's unpublished because I'm collecting statistics from Andrew's course, so I didn't want that to be muddied by the YouTube statistics to be muddied by other use. And the timeline on that was going to be the end of this year, but it might be the end of this semester. So if you want me to let you know, I will do that. Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Yeah.
Get your tickets here.
I'm interested to know about your marking rubric for a video assignment.
Don't ask, don't tell. is my policy. Okay. I think the marking rubric I use does not emphasize the video aspects at all, except in one category where I talk about engagement. And it's really not technical at all, because it's not a video assignment, right? The assignment is about pitching an idea to solve a problem using IT. And so what I tell, and the reason I mark them on engagement is because an interesting, a fun, something you want to watch is going to be, it's going to get more votes from an investor, let's put it that way, right? But the key thing is really we're judging on the quality of the idea and the research around it rather than the quality of the video. Now, if it was a different course, for example, our digital media course that we did a few years back, where the product is a video, we'd probably have a lot more technical video-related rubrics.
One of the points of the that will be addressed in the staff section of the guide is, thinking about what you actually want to test students on in relation to your learning outcomes. So maybe it's not the video.
Yeah.
Maybe the video is just a vehicle. But if it is, then what are you most going to be paying attention to and why? So yeah, I think I've heard people talk. I was at a conference in 2014, I think, and there was a group there who had done a video assignment, and they refused to use a rubric. And I thought that was really bad, because it's quite easy when you're marking if something's very slick, and students can produce slick work. You get tied up with the slick and you don't notice the content.
That was a big problem for us.
Having a marking rubric is really important.
Because of something that looks good after you've watched 300 robot voices reading off a slide, and all of a sudden you get one that's animated and you go, oh, this is fantastic. Then afterwards you think about it, they didn't really say anything, but it looked good.
It sounded great. The
like a
music
lot of
was
TV.
Awesome. It's important.
Do you plan to do some peer reviews with the students, like students marking each other's videos? Or
We do that already.
you do that already?
Yeah. It's built into the process. Yeah.
Can I ask about the screencast?
Yes.
So, what aspects of your course did you use the screencast?
Oh, we leave it up to the students what kind of videos they want to make. And so, for example, they have 3 minutes to create a little video. They have to go through a number of steps outlining different things, and it really depends on what tools they want to use. Some people use stop animation, that's what it's called,
Stop
right?
motion.
Stop motion, sorry, yep, I knew it didn't sound right. Stop motion animation. Some record the screen. That's actually quite common. So they might have a PowerPoint that they're working through, and so they play the PowerPoint and they can control all the animations behind the scenes, but they're just filming the screen essentially. Others are actually using their phones, or some of them actually have all the equipment and do what, you look at it and you think, have you outsourced this to some independent movie production? Yeah.
Is that a Jing, the screencast?
There are lots of different
there's lots of
tools.
different
Alright.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking about from a teaching perspective as
Yes.
well, a Jing or a
Yeah.
screencast would be quite useful. To
I use
elucidate-
Jing all the time. If a student asks me something about a piece of software and I think everybody in the class would benefit, I'll just record my screen, put up a link, and then they go and watch it. I actually ran out of the free bandwidth and I had to pay, and there was 2 gigabytes, and I only do very short
And that's
videos.
kind of a good model for
Yes.
students as well.
Yes.
Actually, it doesn't, because if you're talking about the screenshot while you're narrating it, is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're on an Apple, they do them automatically.
Yes.
In there,
So do,
Apples.
the university gives us Dell, but go and buy one anyway.
So do you provide a list of software that students can use as a recommendation?
We don't, but if students ask us, we do. We've got a list of sort of recommended things, but we've started to steer away from some of our recommendations because there's one in particular that we hate, Powtoon, which is an animated little storyboard thing that has a really annoying jingle at the end called "Created by Powtoon," and we're all allergic to it now in the marking team, and students don't use it particularly well. So we've actually encouraged them. One of my teaching assistants said he's told them he hates Powtoon, so they strongly suggest they don't use that. And he directed them to the resource, and he says he's never had such a great group of students' videos to watch. So, yeah. Kevin.
I was curious about how the students are submitting the file.
What we do is we get them to create a blog site. They upload their video unlisted to YouTube, and then they embed it in their blog site, and then they embed the link to the blog in Canvas. The reason we did that is we wanted them to play around with websites a little bit as part of it as well. We could have just gotten them to submit a file to Canvas, or we could have got them to submit the YouTube link directly to Canvas. A lot of them, for some reason, just do the YouTube link, and I think it's because they don't read the instructions properly. But that's beyond our control. Yeah, and that works brilliantly, and our rubric and everything's embedded in Canvas. Works great. Steve?
You were saying that about 20% of the students may have clicked through to watch the guidelines.
That's what I think. You know, it's quite hard to tell via the analytics how many are clicking through. So
just thinking back to one of the previous presentations,
yes.
Nabil and Nadia,
yeah.
Talking about a bit of a quiz to release
yes.
the subsequent
yes.
material. I'm wondering whether or not you would consider playing with that kind of approach to encourage.
I already made a note and emailed myself, do this for semester 2, because I thought it was a really good idea.
I reckon if you show them one video and see they're all like.
And that's the other thing, is I actually think we could do a hell of a lot better at publicizing the resource. Because I came in week 3, my design was all set up already, and I just stuck it in a place that I thought fit, but it was sort of a bit obscure, I think. And so, for example, Lynn, block your ears and go la 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 for a bit. I actually forgot to put it in under the assignment resources, you know, the recommended resources. I put it somewhere else, you know. In hindsight, it should have been with the assignment resources, yes. Yes.
Just kind of a note to self and the ILT team. I know the polling data, the polling app spreadsheet that we put out was really useful for people to engage with the different polling apps. I'm wondering whether we can perhaps do some work around screencasting and put together people's experience of what.
Please go to www.auckland.ac.nz/edtechhub.
Oh, EdTech Hub, that's really
Right.
cool.
Because there's heaps there already.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.